Greetings, family. My name is Vicki Dillard for African Diaspora News Channel. Thank you so much for tuning in, family. Certainly, you all have been seeing my coverage as well as some of my lovely colleagues about the ongoing catastrophe, drama, train wreck that is Stephen Miller, related to Charlie Kirk, who is an anti-Black white male who's passed away, memorial. You all know that he was unalived on camera, and there's a lot of suspicion around it. But at the end of the day, it wasn't us that did it. So whether it was one individual white person or white male by the name of Tyler that they claimed did it, or whether it was some foreign entity still related to white people, that was them folks that did that. Don't put that on us. Even though that's the case, how many of y'all know that white folks start to turn and start talking to Black folks like the HBCU schools, historically Black colleges and universities, and so forth and so on, right? That's just how they do. Now, with that being said, I want to show you something that I talked about during a live recently. And that is during Charlie Kirk's memorial, which is like the equivalent of like a funeral. You're supposed to be talking about the person that passed. Now, I wouldn't be nowhere near no mess like that. To me, that's like a Klan rally and stuff. But that's nevertheless, you would think that the people at the rally, the Klan rally, going to be talking about Klan stuff. Well, at this Charlie Kirk memorial, the people weren't even talking about his anti-Blackness at the memorial. They sit up there talking about some other stuff that might shock you. Like Stephen Miller. Are y'all hearing me today? I want you all to get ready to watch this very brief clip of Stephen Miller, who is a high-level White House employee. You already know who he is, Stephen Miller, with the White House, the deputy chief of staff. Yes, the deputy chief of staff for the White House. Now, he has a long anti-Black history, but during the memorial, not only does he weaponize this Charlie Kirk's wife, just listen to a brief clip of what he says here.
When I see Erica and her strength and her courage, I'm reminded of a famous expression. The storm whispers to the warrior that you cannot withstand my strength. And the warrior whispers back, I am the storm. Erica is the storm. We are the storm. And our enemies cannot comprehend our strength, our determination, our resolve, our passion. Our lineage and our legacy hails back to Athens, to Rome, to Philadelphia, to Monticello. Our ancestors built the cities. They produced the art and architecture. They built the industry. Erica stands on the shoulders of thousands of years of warriors, of women who raised up families, raised up city, raised up industry, raised up civilization, who pulled us out of the caves and the darkness into the light. The light will defeat the dark. We will prevail over the forces of wickedness and evil. They cannot imagine what they have awakened. They cannot conceive of the army that they have arisen in all of us.
Say what? What is he talking about? What is he talking about? What is he talking about during this memorial? Why is he talking about his white lineage? Why is he saying that his people are the ones that civilized humanity? Why is he saying they're the ones that built architecture, infrastructure? Why is he saying that they, the civilizers? Why is he out here saying stuff about Athens? Why is he talking about Rome, Philadelphia, Monte Carlo and stuff? I don't understand. I do not understand what's going on. This is crazy. Or is this them folks' manifesto for warfare against us? Y'all better pay attention. Family, how many of you all know that our elder taught us that if you do not understand white supremacy, everything else will confuse you. Their attempt to commandeer historical records, their attempt to control the narrative, media spaces, religion, arts, and entertainment, all that, is in part meant to war against prophecy. And I'm talking about prophecy, not just from parts of the Bible, because how many of you all know that parts of the Bible, a large portion of it, came from other more ancient Black texts, including some ancient Black priestesses and prophetesses by the name, they're known as Sibyls. Sibyls just means a prophetess, a Black prophetess, but they were known under many names, literally by thousands of names around in the known world. There are other ancient systems that preceded the Bible. You can't argue with that. I don't care how much you love your Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I'm not trying to disrespect your religion, but we're not going to sit here and play with your mind when there are other manuscripts that are proven in no limit of time that they preceded that book, as well as the Quran and other sacred books. We know that Black folks are the most ancient people on the planet. So what is he talking about civilization? We know that when we dig, we find that the ancient Sumerians, Mesopotamians, Babylonians, that was us. Even the place that we call Europe, the entire planet was originally populated by the Black cosmic race. This is not up for debate, little Stephen. Now, when you go to using Wikipedia, AI, and other sources, white folks are going to try to whitewash their history, or at the very least, they're going to put some truth in it, and they're going to try to taint the rest so that when you read in certain quote-unquote historical backgrounds about them, you scratching your head saying, well, maybe it wasn't. Yes, it was. Yeah, it was. They're controlling the algorithm now, the search engines, because people are starting to investigate more. They're becoming more spiritually aligned, more metaphysically aligned, more consciously aligned. So they want to taint the truth. Y'all wasn't in the beginning. We know you weren't in the beginning because there are places on the planet you can't live. Because the sun is your enemy, while the sun is our energy. I just said something right there. The sun fights you. Nature fights you. So even if we don't pull up the historical records, even if we don't check the genes, even if we don't check the DNA, the RNA, and the blood records and the bloodlines, even though they prove in no limit of time what's what, even if we didn't have the artifacts and all that other kind of stuff, we just know just logically. Now we bringing this up because he brought this up at the ceremony. Why is he in my caves? Did you hear him say that they rose up from the caves? Y'all better understand that this is white folks trying to live. They're nervous that their time on the planet is up, and they can't blame us for taking them out. How many of you all know Joe Biden said what? America is doomed, not just because of Black folks, but because he said white folks in America are getting ready to be the minority. Now we know all over the world, white folks are not the majority. The most melanated people around the world, we're the majority, but specifically in America. Joe Biden, before he became president, said that that's why America's doomed in part. Y'all better wake up and smell the begonias. You better understand this is the fight with BRICS. This is the fights with the African continent. This is the fight with Black folks in the United States. This is the fight with our Afro-Caribbean family. This is the fight with Black folks all over the world. Now, why did I bring up the search engines and all that stuff? Because they're trying to taint it so that they can cast enough doubt so that you can't feel like that you can't rely 100% on what you know. So I'm reading from this article from the publication that's called Africa Archives. I think this gets right to the point where I'm trying to make this point real quick. It says how ancient Africans helped civilize the cavemen. It says the founders of civilization, the mothers and fathers of humanity, and the initial people on the earth were the Black melanated man and woman. Europeans or Caucasians are a later addition to the human race. There are most likely not a single Caucasian on the planet, it says here 10,000 years ago. Archaeologists have discovered and documented the Neanderthal as the first species of Caucasian to exist on Earth. When you realize that, it talks about different things like that. Okay, I'm going to skip a line. I'm trying to go to, okay, here it is. It says, even without scholarly reference, most people are aware of the caveman's horrible situation. Most people, however, do not continue to investigate how the caveman learned to walk. It talks about them learning to walk upright, boiling their food before eating it, to be cognizant of hygiene, and eventually becoming civilized. It goes on to talk about, even in the Honorable Elijah Muhammad's book called Message to the Black Man, he talks about this situation, their formation, and genetics and all that, which I won't get into right now. Family. One of the things I need you all to understand when it says here, it says DNA discovered that ancient skeletons suggest that contemporary Europeans' genetic makeup was created around 4500 BC in the mid-Neolithic or 6500 years ago, rather than by the first farmers who arrived in the area approximately 7500 years ago or earlier, hunter-gatherer cultures. It talks about modern European DNA, where it originated from, where it didn't originate from. You got to ask yourself, why is he sitting there talking about Athens, Greece, Monticello, Philadelphia? Why is he talking about white folks, was his people, civilized the world and stuff, archaeology? And why is he sitting up there talking about their enemies? We and us. What you mean we and us? Whoever took out that Charlie was y'all. Whether it was an individual or a nation of y'all, it was y'all. So why are you sitting here trying to throw down the gauntlet with us? Subliminally. And not so subliminally in other platforms. This is strange. Family, we can be respectful, but this, I just want y'all to know, this not us. He said it live to the world. And now MAGA is mad that he done slipped up and said it and embarrassed him like that. My name is Vicki Dillard, beloved. I can't wait to hear what you have to say about it below. Family, be sure to go to my website at VickiPlanet.com. Join my email list there, because I've got a lot of wonderful products and services, special mystery school academies that I'm releasing. Of course, I have my monthly mastermind school where I teach high-level spiritual principles where my students have been getting miracles in their lives. You want to tap in there. I have my luxury magazine, products and services. You don't want to miss it. Go to VickiPlanet.com. Be sure to share the broadcast. I can't wait to see you again.